Imagine waking up to find an unexpected charge on your bank statement. That's enough to ruin anyone's day. But fear not, because today we're diving into exactly how to dispute a charge with Citizens Bank, ensuring your peace of mind. Welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly glad you're here, because your financial security, well, it's absolutely paramount. And honestly, taking control of it is so much easier than you might think.
Look, seeing your hard-earned money just magically missing from your account can trigger this wave of instant overwhelming panic and frustration. And you know what? That is a completely valid reaction. You work hard for that money. But right now, I want you to just take a deep breath. You are more than capable of handling this. Consider yourself the hero of this financial journey and think of this explainer as your trusty map. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step roadmap to resolve this stress, get your money back, and completely secure your account.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our agenda for today. 1. Basics and first steps. 2. Gathering documentation. 3. Contacting Citizens Bank. 4. The dispute timeline. 5. Preventing future issues. And finally, 6. Escalation and final thoughts.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Basics and First Steps.
So, here's where our journey begins. You've just discovered that mystery charge. Now, your natural instinct is probably to immediately call the bank in a total panic, right? But actually, taking a brief moment to assess the situation is your absolute strongest first move. The very first thing we need to do is correctly categorize this charge. Is it an unauthorized transaction, or is it a billing error? This distinction is absolutely crucial because it literally dictates the entire path of your dispute. An unauthorized transaction means actual literal fraud. Someone stole your card info or they hacked your account and you got zero benefit from whatever they bought. A billing error, on the other hand, is just a clerical mistake by a legitimate merchant. We're talking about a duplicate charge for that coffee you bought yesterday, or maybe a monthly subscription you know you canceled that somehow still billed you anyway. Figuring out which bucket your charge falls into helps Citizens Bank route your claim to the right department right out of the gate.
So, before pulling the fire alarm, run through this super quick checklist. Step 1. Verify with any family members who might have authorized access to your account. Honestly, you would be shocked by how often a massive fraudulent charge is actually just a spouse, or maybe a teenager making a late-night in-app purchase spree that they completely forgot to mention. Step 2. Check for clerical errors. Does the merchant name look weird? Sometimes parent companies use completely different billing names in their actual physical storefronts. And Step 3. Just cross-reference your recent receipts. Doing this quick little bit of due diligence ensures you don't accidentally freeze your entire bank card over a forgotten grocery run.
Moving right along to Section 2, Gathering your documentation.
Assuming the charge is genuinely incorrect, before you step into the arena and contact the bank, every hero needs to armor up. In the banking world, your weapons are thorough information and accurate documentation. So, the crucial point is, having these specific details ready is literally the difference between a lightning-fast resolution and a frustratingly delayed claim. You're going to need your account number, the exact dollar amount in dispute, down to the penny, the merchant's name, and the transaction date. Oh, and if this is a billing error with a merchant you actually do business with, gather any receipts, emails, or chat logs showing you tried to resolve it with them first. Banks absolutely love a paper trail, and handing it to them on a silver platter just makes the whole investigation significantly easier.
Up next, Section 3, Contacting Citizens Bank.
Now that your evidence is completely organized, it's time for the confrontation phase. It's time to officially initiate the dispute. And remember, the representatives on the other side, they are there to help you. So being clear, polite, and prepared really does go a long way. If you're dealing with a debit transaction, the absolute fastest route to a resolution is filing a claim right from your smartphone. It's so easy. Just log into the Citizens Bank mobile app, tap on your account ledger so you can view your recent activity, select that specific suspicious transaction, and just hit the button to begin the dispute process. You can even batch multiple fraudulent charges together if you've been hit more than once. It's automated, it's instant, and it gets the ball rolling right away.
But hey, if you don't use the app or if you're dealing with a credit card, you're going to want to call them directly. Just make sure you're calling the right department. For general fraud and checking account debit cards, dial 1-800-922-9999. If that mystery charge is on your Citizens credit card, though, you'll need the dedicated credit card fraud line. That number is 1-888-307-9565. Both of these lines are set up to immediately cancel a compromised card and issue you a brand new one while they open your case.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that for certain complex disputes, or, if you just prefer keeping things entirely on paper, you can actually submit a formal written Citizens Bank dispute form. But, and this is a big but, there is a massive ticking clock you need to be aware of. Federal law and Citizens Bank's own deposit agreement require that written disputes must be received within 60 days of the statement where the error first appeared. If you miss that 60-day window, you might entirely lose your legal right to dispute the charge, so you definitely want to act fast.
All right, Section 4, the dispute timeline.
So you've submitted your claim. What happens next? Navigating the bank's internal investigation can kind of feel like tossing your problem into a black box. So let's shed some light on what to actually expect while you're waiting. Here's how the timeline generally plots out. Day 1 is when you notify the bank. Within 10 business days of that notification, if the bank hasn't finished their investigation yet, they'll typically issue you something called a provisional credit. From there, the bank can take up to 45 days, or sometimes even up to 90 days if it's a brand new account or a foreign transaction, to finalize the whole investigation. But the really good news here is that you won't be left out in the cold without your money for 3 months.
Let's demystify that banking jargon for a second, just to be totally clear. A provisional credit is essentially a temporary safety net. It means Citizens Bank will temporarily deposit the disputed funds right back into your account while they do their detective work. You get to use your money to pay rent, buy your groceries, and just keep living your life. If they conclude the charge was indeed fraudulent or an error, boom, that credit becomes permanent. Now, if they somehow find the charge was valid, they will reverse the credit, but don't worry, they'll notify you in writing before they do that.
Which brings us to Section 5, preventing future issues.
You've fought the battle, but now we really need to transition to the return phase of our journey. We need to armor you up with proactive strategies to prevent future attacks on your hard-earned finances. And protection mostly comes down to vigilance. First things first, set up customizable app alerts. That way, you get a text the literal second a large or international purchase is made. Second, use a unique, strong password for your online banking. Seriously, please don't use the same password you use for your social media. Never, ever share your login credentials. Keep in mind, Citizens Bank will never call or text you asking for your password. And finally, monitor your statements regularly. Citizens Bank does have a zero liability policy for unauthorized transactions, which means you are completely protected from financial loss. But remember, that policy relies heavily on you doing your part and reporting the fraud promptly.
And finally, Section 6, escalation and final thoughts. So what happens in the rare event that a dispute fails, you are denied your refund, and you still fundamentally believe you were wrong? It is so important to know that you are not powerless here. Federal law provides incredibly strong protections for credit card holders and checking account users. Just as a factual example of this industry oversight in action, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB, actually sued Citizens Bank back in 2020 regarding their management of billing errors and unauthorized use claims. That eventually resulted in a $9 million penalty against the bank. We are reporting this completely impartially, simply to highlight that the federal government actively monitors how banks handle the exact dispute processes we've been discussing today.
And this brilliantly illustrates your ultimate safety valve. If internal escalation at the bank completely fails, you can file a formal complaint with the CFPB. They are an external consumer protection agency, and if a bank refuses to refund an unauthorized transaction unfairly, the CFPB will step in, investigate, and require the company to respond, usually within 15 days. You always have external regulatory rights. Being well-informed and proactive is your absolute best defense in the modern financial world. Knowing the rules of the game makes you a truly formidable player. Now, as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with our standard disclaimer. This explainer is intended for informational purposes only. For specific advice related to your individual situation, please consult with financial professionals or contact Citizens Bank directly. So, the next time a mystery charge appears on your statement, don't panic. You have the roadmap, and you have the rights. The only question is, are you ready to take full control of your financial security?